YouTube, how you doing? Murph here, bringing you another product review. Today's review is going to be on the Womier WK61. This is one of their newer compact keyboard options in a 60% form factor, and it's got some cool design options and aesthetics that we'll go over, and we'll get into the specifications and what I think about the keyboard and all of that. But as usual, we're going to start off by talking about the design and the build quality. So in the box, you're going to get a basic USB-C cable, the keyboard itself, and you're going to get an actual pretty good assortment of extra keycaps. There's a lot of them here. This keyboard is available in 3 different colors. This is the Glacier Blue, and it also comes in a Phantom Black and a Tiffany color, which is kind of a darker blue. Now, this keyboard does have a very basic case design, very similar to what you would expect from another similar keyboard like a GK61. It does have these slight angles on the back and sides, but for the most part, very basic case design. It does have 4 rubber bump-ons on the back to make sure it stays firmly planted on your desk pad, doesn't slide around on you while you're gaming and things like that. It's got a basic 60% keyboard layout, no visible branding on this keyboard other than the label on the very back. One of my favorite things about the design of this keyboard is that it does use this transparent, almost opaque case. So a lot of that RGB lighting actually shines through the back and the sides of the case, which is a really cool design choice. Also, as you will notice, the keycaps that come on this keyboard are their pudding style keycaps. So between the transparency of the case, the pudding keycaps, and the shine through legends on the keycaps themselves, the lighting on this keyboard looks great. Speaking to the legends on these keycaps, very crisp, easy to read, and rather than front printed legends for those function keys, you actually get them just underneath some of these keys here. So you do, even though it's a 60% keyboard, you do retain a lot of the functionality of a slightly larger keyboard. You can see the arrow keys here, your function row up top, delete, and you've also got lighting controls directly on this keyboard. Now, as far as the build quality is concerned, I have no complaints with the build quality at all, especially when you consider this is a keyboard that retails for under $50, and the build quality you get here is pretty solid. The case itself is very well built. There's no flexing on any of these side panels. It feels very sturdy. It's a very light keyboard, which shouldn't be an issue, especially since, again, you have those rubber bump-ons on the back with sliding or anything like that, but it is very light. Some people like that, some people don't. That's one thing to note here, but the case itself feels very sturdy. The keycaps are PBT, so they're gonna last you for the life of the keyboard and should be very durable. They are a little on the thin side, and you'll hear a little bit of that during the sound test. It does translate to a little bit of a lighter acoustic, but overall, I have no real complaints about the build quality. Also, one thing to note here, these extra keycaps are also their pudding style keycaps. So even though it's a darker blue color, it actually is still transparent for all of these extra keycaps, which is a nice touch. So overall, no complaints with the build quality here, especially when you factor in the sub $50 price point. The build quality is great. Now let's talk about the specifications. This keyboard is 11.5 inches long by about 4.1 inches wide and sits at about 1.3 inches in height. It does feature pre-lube stabilizers, obviously the pudding keycaps, really all of the standard features that you would expect, with one caveat: this keyboard actually features a Hotswap PCB. And this is a 5-pin PCB, so there's not going to be any worry about clipping switches or anything like that. Plate or PCB mount switches, you can throw them in here and you're going to get a good experience. That's a pretty good feature, especially, again, taking into consideration the price of this keyboard. You can usually find this keyboard on Amazon for about $40 to $50. At the time of review, this is available for $45 on Amazon right now. Transparent case, pudding keycaps, pre-lube stabs, and a Hotswap PCB. I'll give you guys a quick sound test with this keyboard. This is completely stocked pre-lube stabs with their Automu red switches. Now, overall, the sound quality of these switches in this keyboard are not bad. The one thing I will say is there is quite a bit of ping in these keys. I don't know how well the microphone is going to pick that up. The actual sound profile out of them doesn't sound bad, but the pinging is definitely noticeable. Again, I don't know how well the microphone's going to pick that up, but in person, it's pretty noticeable. But you have to keep things in perspective here. Again, roughly a $45 keyboard. You could probably mod this a little bit to get rid of that issue. And for some of you, it's not going to be a big deal anyways, but that is something that I do want to note here. Now let's talk about the software. All right, guys, now once you download the software and open it up, this is what you're going to be presented with. You can see on the top left here, you can select between 3 different profiles. You can also control your macro settings, set up any new macros that you want here. And what most of you are going to be concerned with is the lighting effects. And for any of these lighting effects, you can actually change the brightness and the speed. And for a few of them, you can even switch up the colors if you'd like. Just to go through these lighting effects so you can see how they look on the keyboard, here is Prismo effect. Here is breathing. Here's wave left to right. Flowers blossom. Rainbow. Wave 2. Clockwise rotation. Wave 3. Response effect, which is going to be one of those reactive modes, depending on the key that you press. Counterclockwise rotation. Snake. Wave 4. Tornado. Neon. Stars twinkling. Single color response, another reactive mode. Steady. Raindrops. Wave 5. And then of course you can customize this, and you can actually do this per key, which is a really great feature at this price point. You don't see that a lot. So you can come in here and customize each individual key for whatever RGB lighting effect that you want. All right, guys, and that's it for the software. We've covered pretty much everything we need to cover about this keyboard. Now I'll give you my final thoughts on what I think about the keyboard, as well as who should maybe consider buying this. My overall thoughts on the keyboard, really not bad at $45. If this was like an $80 keyboard, I might dive into the value a little bit more. But again, guys, this is pretty much an entry-level keyboard, and you're getting a lot for that roughly $45 price tag. You're getting what amounts to essentially a GK61 case. I might even prefer this one a little bit more because of the transparent glacier blue they used. I think it's a really cool style of a case. You're getting pudding keycaps, which from a design perspective, pretty cool. A lot of people pay over 40 bucks just for a good set of pudding keycaps in the first place, and these come on the keyboard stock. You're getting decent specs out of this keyboard, and it's a pretty good gaming performer as well. That's what most of you are going to be buying this keyboard for anyways, I'm sure, and it performs well in games. It's got onboard lighting controls. It comes with decent software, and the biggest thing here is the Hotswap PCB, and you're getting all of that for less than 50 bucks. If you're looking for an entry-level keyboard, this might be the one for you. The sound profile leaves a little bit to be desired, but overall, I think you're getting a pretty good package here. So who would I recommend this for? Realistically, anybody looking for an entry-level gaming keyboard, and I would even say anybody looking to maybe buy a keyboard now that's also a little bit future proof as far as mods are concerned, because this is going to be pretty easy to take apart and do whatever you want to do. It's already got a Hotswap PCB, so if you want to swap out the switches, you can do that, or if you want to easily remove these switches and lube up the springs or the housings, you can do that pretty easily. If you want to add a little bit of extra lube to the stock stabs, you can do that. And if you want to buy some of your own case foam, you can do that as well. So if you want to buy this for an entry-level price and then down the road mod the heck out of this thing, you could do that really easily, and this would probably be a good place to start. With that being said, that pretty much wraps up the review. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button. Also, if you guys want to see other content like this, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications so you can be notified of when I post new content. All download links for the software and purchase links will be down in the description below, and YouTube will catch you later.